Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Akarsha and welcome to my YouTube channel Beyond School. Today I have a very special guest with us, Akshay, and he is a founder of STEMUS and he has tutored over 1800 underprivileged students in the line of Southern India. He's the founder of ML Club, admitted into Harvard undergrad tech venture summer program, and also currently he's working with a freshman from Stanford on drug toxicity, and also have won multiple awards in national and international level. I'm so excited and super pumped to have you in, Akshay. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure being here, actually. Not gonna lie. It's a great experience. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so okay, I just think let's just get fired up with some rapid fire questions. So I'll be just asking you a few questions and you have to answer it really quick. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So the first one is, how would you describe yourself in three words?
Yeah, ambitious, unique, and dreamy.
Awesome. Okay, interesting. And so, so if you get a chance, to have a dinner with a very special person who you kind of admire, and who would that be and why?
I'll probably say Elon Musk. That's a
Okay,
pretty
why
controversial.
so?
Yeah, so I've seen him. I know, I've personally seen him in a lot of articles saying that like at one certain point of time, like he had to divide like his entire fraction of money into two, different distinct organizations. Let's say Tesla and SpaceX. So that was a very crucial situation for him, right? So that's like a completely life, changing moment. So I just want to, really understand what made him, to understand what really caused him to take such decisions of equally distributing his assets towards two organizations. So I think that's a really life changing aspect for either of us. So yeah.
Okay, great insights. And any current book or any movie you saw right now
Okay, so
or
I
any
think
podcast? Yeah.
all time favorite is always The Happiness Advantage. I think it's a great book. You guys can all give it a shot. It's really good. Like even Alchemist by Paul Coelho is amazing. It just
Yeah.
gives you a different perspective of really understanding how the world revolves around you rather than just taking the conventional route. So I think that's something that I really look up to.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm super excited to start this podcast with you now. And so okay, now let's get through your journey now, Akshay. And I would really like to ask, when did you started with all these initiatives, and um, how did you get started, and then just walk us through your journey till now, from your freshman
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
So I think I started like close freshman year, like everyone starts in high school. So yeah, I started freshman year. I was really involved in a lot of computer science kind of gig. I was into ML. I was into data science. I was into a lot of artificial intelligence. So that's when I came up with like a club or something that I could start in my school, right? So it took a lot of processing for my school because they really didn't get accustomed to all these kind of clubs that students actually run, like the ones in the US or somewhere abroad. So it's very hard for my school to really convince them to really understand what I was doing. Yeah, so that's one part. And then I started STEMUS during the break of my sophomore year, of course, after my board exams. Right. So until today, we have almost tutored over 1,800 plus students, as you said. Great talk, actually. So and then then I currently pursuing research alongside Stanford freshman drug toxicity. So I think that's like a very viable topic right now because neurologically, I think drug is like a huge cost in the entire globe. I think that's something that I really look up to working on. So I think the opportunity from the other side as well is a great great rapport that I built with him. And then of course the Harvard undergraduate venture tech summer program that I got into is pretty prestigious. Not gonna lie, I had a
Yeah.
great time getting right. So those are all like pretty good accomplishments. Not gonna lie, I'm just not gonna boast about myself. But yeah, right. So those are some things that I do, completely core based. So something more, ecological or something that I do just for, just for fun. It's like I just take my guitar, which has just four strings, of course. Yeah, so I just strummed it multiple times. It happened to break. So I think I'm Jimmy Page actually. Sometimes I just take it around my room and just sleep, strumming it here and there. I just don't know how to play it, right? I just don't know how to play it. So that's how I actually, show my, my emotions because I just don't know how to speak to people. I just, go to my room, lock myself up, and start strumming my guitar, dancing around the room. It just gives me a sense of satisfaction. Like really helps me realize what I'm doing. It keeps me in tempo. Yeah, I think that is it for now, and we will just keep moving on.
Super, super exciting. Okay. So Akshay, as I know, like you have impacted over 1,800 students, underprivileged students, by teaching them on STEM, and giving them with education on that. So, many teens right now, they always struggle for providing impact on their projects, and they try to, they don't know like where to start and just like whom to reach out to. So, like, how did you go through that, and just walk us through that impact you made through?
Yeah, so it's always like you gotta use the resources that you currently have under your fist because you can't always reach out to the community asking, okay, I want to go create impact. Give me a school. That's not gonna work, right? So what I did is I moved to my hometown during the break. I go there and then I go to small, community schools like where, like small underprivileged schools that don't have much funding. They're just run by, petty staffs like who don't take much concentration into what the students are actually doing. So I go to such schools. I don't explain what I do because that's gonna get them super overwhelmed. I just go there. I just, ask if I can get like 30 of 1 hour, and then I just go speak to the students in the local language. Of course, I can't keep speaking English over there, right? So you gotta communicate in your local language, right? So when you do something like that, that's really gonna reach the kids on every single place because you can't be going through LinkedIn and asking places, okay, can I go volunteer here? That's not gonna work, right? So you gotta use something called an insider technique. Where I know multiple people said this, but of course I'm gonna say it from my side as well. Try using the resources that you have, like go to your father or your mom's, like your play I mean town halls, and then just go speak to local schools or local community centers, like can I get like an 30-minute 1 hour quick gap so I can just introduce what I'm trying to do. I think that's really going to give a lot of impact because initiatives are the most important rather than the implementation or something. Like if you're ready to go dive deep into something, I think that's the best thing that anyone can ever offer. So yeah, I think that's gonna be my partial answer to that.
Okay, okay, yeah. Super valuable. And so, okay, walk us through your journey for how did you land up with working with I think a junior, right, with Stanford.
Yeah, freshman
Yeah.
to freshman.
So yeah, just walk us through that. Like, how did you go went through that?
Yeah, so of course you all might have heard about cold emailing, cold calling, and all that, right? So
Yeah.
it didn't work in my case. It didn't work in my case. I'm gonna be
Okay.
brutal. It didn't work that. It didn't work in my case. I spent 3 4 months, cold emailing. I think approximately 300 400 professors across the globe, ranging from India to the U.S. to Canada to Australia, Austria, every single place. Actually, not gonna lie, I no one actually replied. Like even though they replied, they just gave me a negative response, and I couldn't just deny because they don't want a high schooler working in the lab, right? So what I did is that's when I got introduced to LinkedIn. I was just in LinkedIn for like what past 3 4 months, and then I just started connecting to every single one that I really wanted to connect, and then I go and cold email there as well. I go like, can I get an opportunity? And then I just stumbled upon one. I just don't want to reveal his name, right? So and then he was really interested in what I was doing. He was ready to help me out. So while I was writing my research paper, like he is like my mentor. Like if I stumble upon anything, he helps me out because he's of course a self researcher and he has published in a couple of journals. So he has a complete path that I need. So I think the guidance is the most valuable part in research, and I think I've got it from him. So I think go to LinkedIn, go to Instagram, go to places where people are really are ready for opportunities. Go land and go keep texting. Don't lose hope. But the first thing I would always say is like if you start reaching out to professors at Stanford, Harvard, or these Ivies or UCs, they're not going to reply to you, right? Because they've seen like what thousands of students, emails popping up every single day
Yeah.
on their inbox, and yours is just one among them. Nothing's gonna make them stand out, right? So you gotta make something like when let's say we are one of those professors, when I scroll through my inbox, I if I've got to click on some kind of email, I want something intriguing. I want something more captivating. So that's something that I really look up to. So I think that's something that we have to we've got to able to understand and create in our entire application. So always start with students or mentors or recent graduates or something like that. I think that's going to help. That's going to be more viable and more feasible for us to reach out to. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree because they get so many people reaching out to them. You just have to keep that hook and try to engage them through your content so that they just reply to your message. So absolutely. Okay, next. So I know you shifted from UK to India, and so what changes did you see in terms of startup culture and in terms of like the whole education and what differences did you see through shifting from UK?
Right. So the first thing I would say is probably awareness. So the amount of perspective, students that I've got in the Britain across the NAM region or the of course the European region is that the amount of awareness, the amount of general perspective they have is completely different from what we have as Indians, right? Because that's completely different. So that's how I actually got this very weird accent that I speak right now, and of course the perspective as well. Yeah. So right. Going back, what I would say is, students, of course, in the UK have like a particular educational system where they are trained to more practical knowledge rather than just theoretical based, right? So we just take books, we just start memorizing all those. Like those make no sense. It's not like we're gonna be using algebra, trigonometry in of course, in our real
Yeah,
life, right? So it makes completely no sense. We've got to really understand the intricate details of what we're supposed to learn and what we can implement in our real life later on, right? So, because algebra is going to be useful, right? I might have said that before, but of course, algebra is going to be useful in certain cases. But we really got to understand what part of algebra is required, right? We just don't want to be learning every single thing. So I think I would say the same thing as well. So let's say if you wanna wanna study computer science or you wanna study okay, let's say you wanna study statistics, right? In college. So their education system caters to every single student to their respective majors. So if they want to study economics, they're gonna train them economics at the best level. They're not gonna be feeding them
exactly.
math as well as economics. It's not gonna work, right? Because if you've gonna achieve, it makes no complete sense. IITs what offer, like, I don't have the numbers, what maybe offering 5 6K seats every single year across all 23 IITs,
Right.
and what 12 lakh students apply to that exam every single year, and only like what 10,000 get admitted. And if you want a computer science or something like more, let's say more correlative, like computer science, EC, or mechanical, you've got to score an AIR rank of way lower. That's very hard for every single one. People don't get it. If you want to study computer science, you got to learn computers, not chemistry. That's the first thing I ask every single one who wants to take computer science, right? So that's a lot of different perspectives, I would say. So everything that I say threads into like one core concept is like mindset, like a perspective. Like the unconventionalism that I talk about is really highlighted in every single conversation that I have. So yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So okay, so what do you think so have you read any book or any podcast and few insights you can just provide us with to the audience listening out here?
Right. So to be honest, I'm not a huge book lover. I'm not a huge podcast lover. I just don't listen to any
Okay.
of those because I'm a more visual kind of, so I don't really get the books.
Okay.
So the more books that I read are personally self personality driven, or like something like more tradeful. I just don't read novels because those just don't fit my brain. I just can't visualize any of those because I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan as well. Right. So those are just some of those. But podcasts, uh, I think I've heard Chris Williamson's a bit. Like I know I do hear a lot of quotes from him, so that's one thing. So like I have like a very very favorite quote from. I mean I'm not sure who's that's from, but of course I heard it from Chris Williamson. Okay, it goes like this: the magic you're looking for is in the work you're trying to avoid.
That's
That
a
is
good one.
really hard.
Yeah.
If that hits really hard, that's pretty good. So it does not come from me. Disclaimer, does not come from me. Yeah, I've not even seen who it comes from. I've just seen it say by Chris Williamson. It was a beautiful one. I've been really drawn to that quote. It's a beautiful one. I just want everyone to go check out his channel. Beautiful guy.
That is so good. Yeah. Okay. Um. So, as you know, Akshay.